What's up guys, my name's Chris Rachel. I'm a remodeling contractor out of Omaha, Nebraska, and today we're going to be doing a tour of my job trailer. This will be part one of two. We'll start in the corner here. This bag, no matter what job I'm on, this bag is usually always in the home first. In here, I keep hammer, pry bar. I did get a Martinez hammer. I do enjoy using it compared to the stiletto that I had. I think it would make a big difference for somebody that has a hammer in their hand every day, all day. But Nip-X pliers. Here we have some Nip-X that have some rubber jaws for tightening some fittings with that are finished. You don't want to scratch. Nail puller, small pipe wrench, crescent wrench, scissors, and this is a pretty cool tool. It's a knuckle buster. If you ever do have a client with a door that doesn't want to close all the way, you can take this and put on a door hinge and bend the knuckle of that hinge to align the door up a little better. And it also has a pin remover as well. So it's a pretty cool little tool to keep in your bag. And even if you don't do doors, it's another service you can offer your clients. And another cool tool is 4-in-1 plumbing wrench. Use those for shut-off valves. These come apart. So you can use those to install and remove shut-off valves. Another thing with the bag is I try to keep all the go-to tools in here. So we use a small level for our niches and curbs. Do keep all the sizes of the spindle levels. Some more things in here, just wire strippers, dikes, linemans, needle nose pliers, Allen wrenches. This little tool right here, little right angle drill attachment, that comes in handy, especially when you need it. 5-in-1, keep my squares in here. For Sawzall blades, this is what I did. I found a cheap set off of Amazon just for the bag, and then obviously threw the trash blades away and put my Diablo blades in there. So it's nice, it rolls up, it's compact, you don't have that loud rattly box you gotta dig through and your bent blades get stuck in. So for carabiners are your friend. All right, I've got Teflon tape, paint can opener, gloves, electrical tape, a few other things on there. So another thing with the bag as well is you always have some little things that you need on the job site, and maybe you don't have your tile box in the job site, or a plumbing box or something like that if you need it. So I do keep a drain removal tool for bathtubs. This works out pretty well. It goes into the bathtub drain, bites into the drain. You can put a 1/2-inch drive in there, hammer it in and twist that drain right out. This works really well. Pipe cleaner, this is a toilet bolt holder. So if you ever do have toilet bolts that spin when you're trying to take the nut off, you can actually put this on the toilet bolt. It has little teeth in there. It'll grab that bolt and you'll be able to take the nut off. So this is a really handy tool, especially if you're in bathroom remodels. A Tibbet stick. Guys, how many times have you went into a client's home and maybe your helper or maybe yourself have bumped a piece of furniture lightly and it put a little depression in it, it's a little discolored? You can take this Tibbet stick, rub that little imperfection out, obviously after you tell your client that you messed their shit up. But it's nice to have for those times. I do keep the Moen cartridge puller in there as well, and an angle finder and some wire testers. But that is it for the bag. We can move on to the wall. Up here I do have the stealth mounts for the M12 and M18 tools and batteries. Those twists lock into place, they stay hanging upside down, but do keep the drill, right angle, grinder, 1/4 inch impact. Up here, these batteries, they just click in, slide out. And this trailer I think right now has about 80,000 miles on it. And I'll be honest, I broke the mount for the planer here. As you can imagine, that's fairly heavy. It's at a weird angle. Those little plastic bases, they hold up well, but the whole idea of having all of these tools and batteries out and open and ready to go is that they're not buried in a box somewhere, and as I go into a job, I can pull, you know, finish nailer, maybe I need the jigsaw or the SDS, the oscillator, maybe I don't need the drywall tools. So I just pick and choose what I'll be using for that job, and I'll actually throw it in the rolling Packout box down there. And I'll pick and choose a few things as far as tools, batteries, blades, some small hand tools, things like that, depending on the size of the job. Throw in that box, and that's just kind of my go-to box for some of those tools. So up here, you can see I have 3 grinders. My 4th one's actually out in the shop. I've been using it. But for blades, I mainly do a lot of gauge porcelain. So for gauge porcelain, I do use the Helix Helion quite a bit, and the Monolith CSS 100. This is my go-to blade for gauge porcelain, as well as Adam Christensen's go-to blade. We use that on even Decton, so it's a good blade. Go through a bunch of them. For pads, we use the Helix Quattro. They're a metal back pad. I use the hard base a lot on variable speed, and up top here behind the batteries, I do keep a soft base and a medium base. They're just velcroed to the ceiling up there. Keep a stone blade as well in case I ever do have to cut some quartz. Got all the blades I need really. So up here I do have a level 5 drywall blade. All of our drywall in our bathroom, kitchen remodels is all level 5. So we try to get everything in as flat and level as plumb as possible. So coming around to this wall, there's a few things on here. First thing is I've got some jigsaw blades just in a little ABS pipe with a cap. Here we've got a stud finder. I do have the angle finder as well. Those are great. This is a close perimeter caulk gun. So your caulk tube goes in and you cut off the excess as you need, so you can get in those tighter areas. It's something nice to have. It's cheap to keep on the trailer, and when you need it, you need it. Got the tape measures, the circular saws hanging off the wall. Some Milwaukee retractable pencils. Actually got those off of eBay. I think they were like $5. A magnet strip, so I do keep a socket size for my lug nuts, as well as a 1/2 inch impact up there in case we do need to change a tire or something. But just keep some random stuff up there. It's all the odds and ends that you need occasionally. They're there. And one thing I will mention as well, if you guys ever do have silicone on drywall and you're trying to paint over that silicone, and redoing the drywall isn't an option, you can take some Kills Original, shoot over that silicone, and you'll be able to paint it in about 5 minutes. So always keep a can of Kills. This square here is from Hunt Tool Company. This is cut out for a 3-inch PVC pipe for toilet flange. You got a single gang outlet and a 2-gang outlet. It's really handy. It's nice being able to see through it. Transparency is nice. Moving over to this wall, I do keep a heat gun. We use that for heating up epoxy whenever we're doing miters. Keep some toilet sills, some clean strip caulk removal, That stuff helps get caulk off. Up here I do have some M18 chargers, some cleats for pouring self-leveling, some extra caulk guns, and paper towels, glass cleaner, spray foam. Over here I do have the cordless caulk gun, cordless sausage gun, and Sawzall. It's all in just ABS pipe. Actually cut the pipes into the wall so they recess into the nose a little bit. Down here I have 400 amp hour Renogy solar batteries. Everything in here is just batteries, charger. I keep some manuals in there as well. For the charger, we'll show you outside later on. I do have some 110 outlets out there, so I can plug into 110 and bypass the solar system and have 110 in the trailer, or plug it in and use 110 volts off of my inverter. So got options there. It's always nice to have options. Usually if we have a couple of cloudy days in a row, I'll come home and plug it in so it trickle charges the batteries and gets them back up. For the inverter, it's a 300 watt Renogy. I do have some 110 outlets in here. I keep my Grabo batteries down there. Believe it or not, they just kind of hang there. They ride. So I do have a DS18 and a radio up here as well. You can see the radio is broken, so I have not gotten around to hooking any of that up. Down here I have a small 8,000 watt diesel heater. It uses, I would say, probably half a gallon of diesel a day, because the trailer does stay parked in the shop here at nighttime. So I've got R13 in the ceiling and R6 in the walls, so it is fairly insulated in here. I'd say during a day where it's 0 degrees outside with 30-mile-an-hour wind, it's still 70 degrees in here, so it does a great job of keeping up and keeping everything in here warm. Years ago, my first trailer, I walked in and grabbed my Monolith P3 cutter by the rail, and it actually took some skin off my hand. It was so cold, so getting the heater in here was definitely a game changer for me. I'll post some links on the video where you can get it, everything you'll need, so they're not too challenging to get hooked up and operational. Working our way around to this wall, I do have my electrical tool bag. In here it's basically a lot of the same stuff that's in the backpack. It's just nice not having to pull things out of the backpack to put in the bag. That's how things get lost. So there's a lot of double tools in here, just so I'm not losing things and stuff's ready to go when I need it. We use this a lot for can lights, so there's a template in there for some can lights, wire strippers, alignments, dikes, needle nose pliers, screwdrivers, nut drivers, drywall saws, multimeter. It's about it for in this bag. These foam pads here, these are actually foam pads for lakes. So we use these a lot to cut regular tile on. Maybe you have a complicated cut or something that's breaking as you're cutting it while you're holding the tile in your hand. So we'll put the tile on the foam pads, helps reduce vibrations. On here I do have a Barwalt kneeling pad. It just stays chilling out in the dolly. This is a 500-pound dolly, if I remember right. It's collapsible, and it's there when I need it. It doesn't take up much space, so it gets used often. And for my go-to rolling Packout box, this box I had mentioned, we throw a lot of random tools in here depending on the job that we're going into, and this box will just transport some more of the other Packouts, and we'll dive into those here in a second. But the whole idea with the rolling Packout is on demolition day, I'm able to take some Packouts into that home for the demolition process. Once demolition is finished, the demolition boxes come out, and those demolition boxes may come out on this Packout or with the dolly, either one. And then once we get into a framing phase or waterproofing, or maybe some guys are getting into plumbing, electrical, we'll take those boxes in for them. So some Packouts go in and out through each phase of the process, and we don't have all of these pack outs in the house at the same time, and it really reduces the amount of time that you're trying to find things. So you can see we have some of these fast cap level holders for the Stabilas, and these just twist and level, pulls right off, and those actually just screw into your wall there. So those are really nice to hold your levels in place, help protect them, and help with some organization there. Milwaukee glow rods, brim, dustpan, air tip. This thing is really nice. Be cautious if you do get one not to use it on fresh paint, because it'll leave that little triangular imprint in the paint. T-square, keep razor blades, fire extinguisher. We'll always take fire extinguisher on our job sites. And these little toggle levers here, they're adjustable. We'll put a link down there for those as well. They're on Amazon, and used them in a few spots in here. They're super handy. These little clamps, I actually seen one of these being used to hold some paperwork in a C-130 while I was in the Air Force, and I looked for these things forever and never could find them. Something so simple, right? I finally found them and was able to incorporate them in the trailer. So getting into this wall, some of these boxes are somewhat placed in order on this wall, some are not. I didn't put too much time and effort into getting each pack out in a specific row for each trade, simply because, as a lot of you know, if you're probably watching this, you know how often new pack outs roll out. So there's still some new pack outs that have hit the market since I started this build that I don't have in here. So I'm sure those will end up getting updated over time. But start out on the top here. All of these bases I got off of Sweet Shop, off of Etsy. He made all of these out of 3/4 inch birch plywood for the bases, and you'll find a lot of places they'll actually make the pack out bases out of 1/2 inch plywood. I would not suggest that. What happens a lot of times is the screws on the sides for the drawer slides, they'll actually end up splitting the plywood. So a lot of these pack outs are really heavy, and I had to have 3/4 inch plywood. The drawer slides, I got these off Amazon. They're 18 inch drawer slides. We'll put a link down below for those. These are shark locks, and we will put a link down below for these as well. They simply lock in place and keep that from moving. Pull it out, you just lift up and pull. And we'll dive right into this soldering box here. We do keep a few fittings, a torch, some pre-built posi temps, some sweat jets, solder, flux, Teflon tape. Nothing too crazy in that box, but everything that we should need for soldering is in there and ready to go. We usually keep some delta valves and Kohler valves pre-soldered in there too, but we have used them. So this box here, the supply line box, I'm not going to open that up for you guys. It is literally just supply lines for sinks, toilets, refrigerators. I got a couple washer supply lines in there as well. The Grabo box, I do have 2 dedicated Grabos for the trailer. These are the Grabo Pros. I have extra seals, filters, batteries in there. These just pull out. I just used some Purdy board and glued the factory plastic protector that came with the bag in there. So those stay in the trailer usually for our gauge porcelain jobs. We will bring out 10, 12 Grabos or something if we're using the panel handler system. But all of those do stay in the shop, so no reason to take up space in here. So in here, this is the plumbing box. We got the Pro Press. It's the M12 Pro Press. When I was looking at these, I was thinking about the M18, but the M18 kind of restricts you on getting in stud bays. There's usually a little lever on there. We took that off just to get in some tight spaces. Internal pipe wrench kit. These are really nice. I have had some shower heads break off inside of the drop your elbows before, and you can just put this in there and get out the broken part of the shower arm. So those can save you. You can get those on Amazon. I'll probably put a link down there for those as well. And here we have the 1/2-inch pipe cutter, some PEX tools, spare blade for the pipe cutter. This tool right here I do use often. It is the ferrule blaster. We'll put a link down there for that, but this does remove shut-off valves off of copper very easily. So keeps you from doing some drywall work sometimes, or losing some length on a pipe. But super nice tool to have. I will say it's solid aluminum, and it feels good in your hand. If you ever do have one of those favorite tools you have, this is one of mine. It's a really well built tool. So in this drawer, I do keep a borescope back there. Those are nice to check for leaks. PVC pipe cutter and a large syringe, pulling water out of toilets, things like that. Comes in handy. Moving down, this box is kind of unique. So this kit right here, I use a Sharpie, guys. I don't have the fancy tags for the boxes. I haven't gotten into that. Reason being is sometimes packouts change a little bit and I don't want to waste money on the tags. Sharpie's just easy. For this, there's an X on this box. This is usually my first box I go to for T20, 25, or Phillips. If it's not in there, it's probably in box number 2. Try to keep these as clean as I can, but if you have these boxes, you know exactly how hard it is to pull things out. This is the driver box. Yeah, this stuff is just crazy how hard it is to pull those out, but I think that's kind of why I like them. A lot of the other boxes, you remember years ago, you'd put the bits in the little holders and they'd fly out, and you just have this box, you couldn't close it because nothing was in the little slots. Well, that's kind of why I like the Milwaukee boxes. In here as well, I do keep some easy outs. You can open that up. So if you ever do have a stripped screw, you can drill the screw head out and then reverse the screw out. But put a link on Amazon for that. And I do keep all of my oscillating blades in this corner as well. Also keep some in the bag that you guys seen earlier. Down here we have diamonds. So this is the Bosch hole saw kit. These bits work really well for gauge porcelain. I actually haven't used this specific kit yet, but I think this is actually my 4th. We use these hole saws during trainings, and I drill a lot of holes for some of the custom furniture that we build as well. So I have a few of these kits just scattered throughout. For milling bits, cone bits, a hole saw, a dressing stone. A lot of this stuff for the cones and milling bits and hole saws you guys can get on tiletools.com. You can get 10% off with the discount code TileNation, so keep that in mind. These little rods here, you get these off Amazon. These are nice to put on the grinder and be able to get underneath a toe kick and cut some tile out underneath the toe kick if you're trying to not move cabinets and replace the tile floor. I do keep switchblade bits, some spare blades, some spade bits, some metal step bits. Those really don't get used that much. I did buy this tool from Klein Tools, and I had to do some can lights and some corrugated tin. So you literally drill a hole, this goes in the hole, hook this up to your drill, and you're able to cut a hole out of tin using this. That's really, really nice if you're doing can lights and corrugated tin. In the next drawer, mainly got a bunch of hole saws. Moving down, I've got a tape drawer. Just a few different types of tape I use, and I've got tape in some of my other boxes as well. So this Packout specifically doesn't make it in a home that often. We got some chisels, some SDS attachments in this drawer. A lot of wasted space in there. And a shim drawer. In here I do have some wood shims, some sausage gun attachments, tips, and standard and metric set screws. So I don't know how many times you guys have been putting in a towel bar, toilet paper holder, or something like that. Maybe you open the package up and lost a set screw, or it just didn't come with one. I've had that happen too many times. So these little kits, they're really cheap on Amazon. They don't take up a lot of space, and they can save you a trip to the store for sure. Done in this box, keep some outlets, some screwless wall plates. I love these. It's 2023, guys. I cannot stand seeing screws on wall plates. Drives me crazy. So keep some GFIs in here, some low voltage switches, and that's about all this box is dedicated for. We do have some blank covers in there as well in case we do have to do a junction box somewhere. This is a glue box. Again, this is one of those boxes that doesn't make it into a home that often. Just keep some PVC primer, glue, some Fila epoxy residue remover. That stuff works great if you're an Ardex WA user. I've also used it on Latacrete Spectralock Pro. It works just as good, but just a few different types of glue in here. Some wood filler, some butane, some goof off, some bar keepers, spray paint. For this box, just keep paint rollers, pan liners, some M1 in here to help that paint flow a little better. These Wooster brushes, if you have carpal tunnel like me, these are really nice. You can choke up on really close, and it helps your hand out quite a bit. Some artist brushes, 6-inch rollers, some pads, things like that. But that's what that box is dedicated for, and it's nice on paint day to just have that box in there, and you've got everything in one spot, one location. You're not making extra trips out to the trailer. For this box, I keep a bunch of GoPro attachments in here. The GoPro, I'd say the most important one is the FLIR MR277. This will pick up a lot of moisture if you know how to properly use it, but it's also good for checking areas where your client may have not enough insulation in some areas. It'll pick up those cold spots in the winter, or hot spots in the summer. But that is a camera that always goes with me on estimates, so I can check things out, see if there is any extensive water damage, or maybe they do need some insulation in some areas. But super handy camera. And this box, some Tapcons, some oddball screws, lag bolts, nothing too crazy in there. Move up to the anchor box, just some wall anchors in here, and move up to miscellaneous box. This box, it's a trailer queen. It's never seen a job site. We just keep spare electrical tape, Teflon tape, some wrenches for grinders and roto zip, things like that. Knife sharpener for the installation knife, some door stops, and all of those attachments that come with your new oscillating tools whenever you get them, that everybody has laying around. I do keep some spare blades for the hand planer and roto zip blades, things like that in there as well. Do the screw box. This is a box that usually goes in and stays in on the job site. Got some smaller screws for pocket doors, some headless screws, drywall screws, Getting a little low on screws for waterproofing, but 3-inch, 4-inch screws, some carpet nails, or transition nails, I should say, some cabinet screws. I also have some spare screws for the rapid recess kit for curbless entry showers. These two boxes right here, we'll just do them together. I'll mention for this first aid kit, this is always on job sites just in case you need a band-aid, something get cut. It's there if you need it. It's always right next to the fire extinguisher. But I do also keep a Med 1 kit truck as well, so that one's a little more extensive. That one has things like quick clot and stuff like that in there. This box is just a low voltage box. I've got some LED strip, some thermostat wire to run the LEDs with, 12 volt switch, 24 volt, some more LEDs, a driver, dimmers, and some electrical connectors in there as well. That's all that box is for. We do a lot of LED niches, backsplashes for kitchens, things like that. So that stuff's always nice to have on hand. So the 2-inch box, I'll show you guys. It's just 2-inch PVC fittings. That's the only thing that's in this box. P-traps, 90s Ys, pipe hangers, couplers, and that's all that box is for. So plumbing day, my plumber has everything he needs right in that box. So same thing for the 1.5-inch crate, just some 90s Ys, Ts, 45s, pipe hangers, P-traps. But this is the 3-inch plumbing box. Same thing in here. There's some toilet flanges, 90s, couple Ys, 3-inch, 2-inch reducers. And for this one, we do have some of the angle stops and some shark bite fittings. A lot of these guys, they're being used temporarily and taken off for either copper or PEX, but we will not install a shark bite fitting on a job site. If we do run into a job site where the home actually has these in use, my plumber will go through and eliminate these, take them out. I despise them. I don't trust them enough. I've seen a few of those failures. So here we have 3/4-inch Pro Press fittings, and for these Pro Press boxes, we do have the Wicked wire wheel pipe cleaner, handheld pipe cleaner, a 3/4-inch shut-off valve. Just multiple different fittings, but each box all has a couple of cutters, deburr, a reamer, and a wire brush. Getting into the 1/2-inch Pro Press fittings, same stuff, just got some 1/2-inch drop your elbows in there. There's another 1/2-inch Pro Press box. Same thing with this box. Still has a lot of the same hand tools, things like that, but a few different fittings. We got some close nipples. You gotta have those for the body sprayers and handhelds, things like that. And the Pro Press, guys, is such a time saver. PEX box, kind of same thing. Just a few PEX fittings. There's not a whole lot of PEX that we do around here. We've got a 3/4-inch box. This is just 3/4-inch brass mainly. For this electrical box, we've got some wire in here, a bit, fish tape, a Klein dust catcher for doing can lights, and that's literally all that box is good for. Usually I keep 14.2, 12.2, some 14.3 in there. Just a little low on wire right now. I think we actually have some on the floor up front. I'll show you guys. This box is one of my more favorite boxes in here. is all the MLT kit. So we've got our caps here, some rubber bases on some of them, MLT gun, and I'm a big metal strap guy. Personally, I break the rules occasionally here and there. I like to get my joints very tight for those gauge porcelain installs. But same deal with MLT, guys. You can get it on tiletools.com. And this is the only lippage tuning I have on the trailer because it's the only one I like using now. Got hooked on it a couple years ago and I absolutely love it. All right, guys, that was part 1. If you guys want to watch part 2, you can click the link right up there.